You know, we elevate him because he's the Cowboy. That's why I don't care.
The Dallas Mavericks, real quick before we get to Rob Stats Guerrera, they released an NBA Finals video, and the voiceover is Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
They didn't even have Dak Prescott or anyone from the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes being from Texas.
Yes, yes.
He's always
all the
courtside.
games.
Him and Kelsey were courtside during
look,
the.
Rob Stats Guerrera's, he's clenching his teeth right now. That's not a good look for the Cowboys, right, Stats? Good to hear from you, Stats. What's up, baby?
What's going on, gentlemen? First, can I just say, Scottie Pippen would give Steph Curry all he could handle. Are you serious? He was first team all defense 8 straight years, and he's got 6 inches on Steph.
Yeah.
Scottie was 6'8".
Yep. No, you're right.
You're talking to two people who agree with you.
Right, yeah, because we look at just this past season, right? We look at this past season. The guys who give Steph the most difficulties, and Steph is still going to get his, but he's going to have to work to get his, are the guys who are 6'8", long and athletic. Scottie Pippen was that. Jaden McDaniels that everybody talks about now, that's Scottie Pippen.
But Jaden McDaniels. I mean, like, Scottie, I know what you're saying.
I'm not saying, what you're saying. Jaden McDaniels not
they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
I mean, I love you, Ant, but come on.
Yeah, but that's what we're saying.
No,
those type of guys, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram, all those guys, or not Brandon Ingram, Trey Murphy III down the play. Anyway, Rob, we brought you on to talk a little Niners here.
Yeah, you know what? Let me change hats while you do that. You guys do your thing, and I'm going to get ready. I'm going to get into Niner mode.
Okay, all right. That's what you need to get into Niner mode. Okay.
What, you don't like the helmet? This is from the 70s, bro.
Why you always say that? What's I like
up?
It or not?
If you're on YouTube, this is like a John Brody from the 70s Kezar Rawlings helmet, bro. I'm ready. I'm ready to talk some football. And we're going to do big cap, big facts.
If you're ready to talk football, you got to take the jacket off too, though.
I'll do that later.
Yeah, okay.
I'm warming up here. I'm like John Brody. Don't throw nothing at me.
I'm leaving early. He's ready to talk some Giants baseball. They got a win against Arizona yesterday. Let's go ahead, start the parade right now. Anyway, Niners minicamp. All right. Christian McCaffrey, new money. Did you see this coming at this time for mandatory minicamp?
Yeah, I knew the second he wasn't there at OTAs that he wanted something done with his contract, especially because he had no guaranteed money left. I know everyone wanted to shout at me and say it was wedding prep. It wasn't wedding prep. It was money prep, okay? He wanted more money. He deserves it. This is a good contract for CMC. It's a good contract for the Niners. I think everybody did the right thing here.
I mean, we put out a little video yesterday that they clipped, and people can have whatever feeling they want. And, you know, your personal favorite is your personal favorite. But, like, with the zero disrespect to Roger Craig, you know, Joe Perry, John Henry Johnson, Hugh McElhaney, Frank Gore, I feel like I'm watching the most talented running back of all time in a 49er uniform in CMC. Like, this guy has no hole in his game.
I completely agree with you. He's an incredible player. He has no weaknesses. I think that we are living in the universe. Of all the universes that are out there, we happen to live in the one where the Christian McCaffrey trade worked out the best for the 49ers. There's no knock on it. It couldn't have worked out any better. He's been healthy as hell. He's the reigning offensive player of the year. He has fit perfectly within this offense. This is the best possible outcome we could have gotten from that trade.
Unbelievable trade. And this is why you trade. And you're a Mariners fan. I'm sure you probably feel like this. You're trading a prospect for a proven talent any day of the week and twice on Sunday. And that's what the Niners do with Christian McCaffrey. And please don't tell me running backs don't matter because they open up the entire offense. And we saw that last year with the Niners. Now, when it comes to Brandon Aiyuk, do you believe this deal has anything to do with Brandon Aiyuk's money?
No, because they're going to lower Aiyuk's cap number if they sign him to an extension. They're going to free up cap room with this deal, at least in the short term. So I don't know that the McCaffrey deal had anything to do with it. My issue with the 49ers is this. If you've decided that you want Brandon Aiyuk, then he should have been signed already. Like, what are we doing? There's 8 receivers that have signed contracts this offseason worth at least $23 million a year. We know the cap with Justin Jefferson because he's clearly going to be the number one. Like, it's not hard to find the ballpark here. So why are we still messing around? To save $1 million, $2 million? Like, what are we doing here? Now, if you've decided you don't want Brandon Aiyuk, that's fine. I can live with that. But then you should have traded him before the draft or during the draft so that you could get something back for him. So I just don't understand how we're in June right now and it's not done.
You know, we had Mike Florio on for Pro Football Talk yesterday, who broke the Christian McCaffrey news when I asked him a question about Brandon Aiyuk. And he just asked us, you know, is Brandon Aiyuk the type of wide receiver that's going to make defenses lose sleep at night. And you look at his numbers, which are really, really good last season. But is he a guy, in your opinion, Rob, where he's going to make defenses say, oh, we really got to worry about Brandon Aiyuk because you have this plethora of weapons, right? Debo and Christian McCaffrey, Kittle. But where do you think Aiyuk stands when it comes to opposing defenses? Do they lose sleep over him? Are they looking at Brandon Aiyuk as like, boy, we really have to pay attention to number 11?
No, I don't think so. You know, it's funny. People love to throw shade at Brock Purdy by saying, look at all the weapons. He's got Shanahan doing the tricks and getting everybody open. But nobody ever says that Shanahan gets Aiyuk open, right? Aiyuk gets all the credit for getting open. He doesn't get any sort of boost from Kyle Shanahan from people. And I just don't think that's true. I think Brandon Aiyuk is a very good wide receiver, but I also think he benefits from Kyle Shanahan and the rest of the players that the 49ers have, just like they all do. But I don't think of Brandon Aiyuk as an elite wide receiver. I'm sorry. He was double-teamed 15th out of 105 wide receivers. He was double-teamed 15th most. That doesn't scream elite wide receiver to me.
How do you think it's received if come training camp, it's the first week of August, and similar to Bosa last year, Ayuk's not there. He's not doing a hold in. He's just physically not at practice, nowhere to be found. How do you think that lands with fans? Forget the locker room, because I think they know it's a business. How does it land with fans? Because I saw Bosa get a lot more heat this year than he's ever gotten.
Oh, I think it would go over like a lead balloon. I think both sides would get ripped. I think Aiyuk would get ripped for not being there, but I think more so the Niners would, because Debo just said it. That whole contract situation affected him negatively. Nick Bosa admitted last year the contract situation affected him negatively. So the 49ers have two very recent examples of two of their biggest stars who were impacted in a negative way because of the way they negotiate. And so how could you then, in an all-in year, right, another Super Bowl or bust year, put another one of your offensive stars in a position to where he could be negatively affected and be less than 100%? So, yeah, Aiyuk would take heat, but the 49ers would take more heat, I think, because they know the impact that this sort of thing can have, and they let it happen again.
No, I 100% agree with you. And I think more heat probably will come to Aiyuk and how we view, because how fans view Debo now. They're ready to move off Debo no matter what. And I get the limitations with Debo Samuel, but I also realize when you get the ball in his hands in an open field, he could take a 7-yard drag route and take it 70 yards. We've seen that from Debo Samuel time and time again. So I do agree with you on that one. Now, I know you were on with Kay Adams, and I'm like, man, look at Rob Stats Guerrera, man. He crossed over, man. He's mainstream media now. He's on with Kay Adams. I think you said something about Brock Purdy, how you would wait to pay him. You wouldn't pay him right now. You want to see what he does this season before you think about the money you want to give him moving forward. Now, what did you mean by that? And if you could explain to our audience what you meant by that when it came to Brock Purdy and his new money.
Sure. What I mean is, I think if the 49ers were allowed by the CBA, they would pay Brock Purdy right now. I think they are convinced. I think they're all in with him. I am not there, so I love the fact that the 49ers cannot pay him right now. They can't give him that massive contract, because I always favor more information in life as opposed to less, especially if I'm going to have to pay somebody $50 million a year. I want as much information as possible before I make that decision. So I know Brock was great last year. He absolutely was. I want to see another year with him. I want to see another year. Maybe if some of the players get hurt and they're not around him, how does he look? I want to see Brock actually look like a competent quarterback in the rain, because I'm tired of checking the weather report before the game each week. I just want more info before I say, hey, Brock Purdy, here's $50 million, and let's make it 10 times harder to win a Super Bowl.
Boy, it just feels like this whole entire offseason, it's like about salvage, like keeping the band together, right? You know, the final quest or the last Odyssey or the last dance or whatever you want to put together. If Brock is their, long-term, guy, and you get a great year again out of him this year, I mean, don't you feel like this isn't the last run? Like they're going to have different versions of this team, because nobody says that about any Mahomes variations. Nobody's saying that about Josh Allen or Burrow or any of the other guys that we deem to be in that category. Another 12, 13-win season, another couple wins in the playoffs. Does that sway people who might be on the fence?
It's definitely, they can extend the window if Brock is who they think he is, for sure. I think it's the last ride for this crew, for Aiyuk, Kittle, Debo, all of those guys, I think this is the last run for them. But you're right, especially if Brock is who they think. There's no reason they can't be in the playoffs in 2025, 2026 without Kittle or without Debo, or hell, maybe without both of them. So I agree with you. They're going to have to sort of shift into a new core, so to speak. But it's not like, well, if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, we're going back to, 10 years of darkness like we saw with Jim Tom Sula and Chip Kelly and Dennis Erickson back in the day. We're not going right back there.
Mike Nolan as well as the GM and head coach of the 49ers. What'd you make of Debo at the podium the other day? He said he heard the trade rumors, went back and forth with his agent before we get you on the airways. Debo seemed like he knows what's up. Like he's understanding that, yeah, this could be it with me in the red and gold. I may have one season wearing the number 1 for the 49ers, man. It was very interesting from Debo Samuel out there, Rob.
I loved the honesty. We always hear praise from Kyle Shanahan for being honest with his players and being real with his players. And based on what Debo said and what Mooney Ward said, they acknowledge, look, we know after this year, we might not be back. Everybody is, upfront about this, which I think actually, in a weird way, might help them sort of get over that Super Bowl hangover, because they all kind of know, hey, one more year, let's give this thing a run, because we know it's probably not going to be like this anymore. But Debo knows what's up. He said it. I knew what I signed up for when I signed the contract. I don't think anybody had any illusions about Debo Samuel getting his name up on the wall as a 10-year 49er or anything like that. They know it's once more into the breach this year, and after that, who the hell knows?
Who the hell knows, man? The 49ers, content machine. They don't lack news whatsoever under Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Rob Stats Guerrera, keep up the great work, man. Gold Standard Network, Gold Standard Podcast Network, at Stats on Fire on Twitter. You're doing a hell of a job, Rob. Keep up the great work, man.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. Rob Stats Guerrera, man. What's up?